So what a week it's been for Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. You had the Appalachian State loss. Then after that, one of your five-star players you just signed in the previous recruiting class went full Talladega Nights in a parking garage. And then that same five-star has been seen liking tweets calling Jimbo Fisher's offense expired. So there is a lot of drama and storylines in College Station right now. But for right now, for this week, we need to turn our attention forward. Because there's a game this weekend that I think all college football fans need to be keyed in on and need to be watching. And that's Texas A&M taking on the Miami Hurricanes. Because this is not just the story of Texas A&M. This is also the story of the Miami Hurricanes under Mario Cristobal and what their future is going to look like. Before we start breaking this game down, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a T for Texas A&M or an M for Miami, letting me know who you think will come out of this game victorious. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it, and if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and comment down below as those interactions, though seemingly small, are massive to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, we need to talk about the optics in this game, because this game right here has two teams at two different stages of their season. Right now, Miami has everything in front of them. They're 2-0 at this point, and this is their first Power 5 opponent, and it's a ranked Power 5 opponent at that. On top of that, Miami has to travel to Kyle Field, a place that's notoriously difficult to play in because of the noise and because of how active that Texas A&M fan base is. On the other side of the aisle, you have Texas A&M, who came into this year with so many eyes gazed upon the program. However, even though there's been so much attention, Texas A&M has kind of faltered to this point in the season and dropped a game to Appalachian State this past weekend. So when we look at this in its entirety, this game presents incredible opportunities to both of these coaches. For Mario Cristobal, it's going to be your first ranked game as head coach of the Miami Hurricanes in a road environment that's notoriously hostile against a team that's a little bit on the ropes right now. What better way to get that first ranked road win than against Texas A&M? If you're Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies, you're looking at the situation realizing opportunity is ripe right now. Everybody's talking about the loss that just occurred, but if you're able to go out there, beat this Miami team, I think a lot of people are going to be willing to forgive the Appalachian State loss so long as the Aggies can get their feet under them and continue improving game after game for the rest of this year. So this truly is a game that carries massive implications, because the storyline around the Texas A&M Aggies will shift dramatically if they go out and win this game. However, if they lose this game, more questions are going to be asked. More storylines are going to continue arising from College Station, so this is a massive game for both of these institutions. But now let's peer into the game. What are going to be the keys to victory? And we'll start with Texas A&M. For Texas A&M, they have got to establish some sort of consistent run game. They've got very talented pieces on this offense. Whether we're talking about A-Chain, Aniyah Smith, Stewart, Chris Marshall, they've got pieces on this offense, but specifically in the rushing game, things have got to come together, and as offense as a whole, because currently, right now, Texas A&M ranks as the 166th scoring offense in all of college football. This is going to be a big opportunity for Jimbo Fisher and company to try and right some of the wrongs that have occurred, to try and rewrite the narrative around your offense, specifically because you're an offensive-minded head coach, and that has not been the strongest part of your team really in a long time. But more specifically, we started talking about the rushing attack, and that is where I think Texas A&M really has got to get something going. Because right now, if we look at this, A&M has really struggled running the ball with any consistency with any running back. And in fact, if we compare and contrast how effective A&M has been running the football with how effective Miami has been running the football, Henry Parrish for Miami has more rush yards than the entirety of A&M's rushing attack this year. So that shows you there's two totally different storylines here. Miami and Henry Parrish have been able to run the football effectively, whereas Texas A&M has not. And neither one of these programs have played a Power 5 opponent yet, albeit App State is a real good football team. I'm not going to take anything away from the Mountaineers. They're a solid football team, no doubt about that. But for Texas A&M, if your offense continues to struggle, you have got to do something. If you're having a hard time consistently passing the game, the rushing attack has got to come and alleviate some pressure off of Haynes King, off of the offensive line and off of the offense as a whole. Because right now, if defenses are able to key in on what you're doing, it's going to be much more difficult getting anything positive than it needs to be, especially when you have the caliber of athlete Texas A&M has. On the flip side, Texas A&M's defense is a really intriguing one because on the defensive front, they are certainly not short on talent, and that's something you hope plays a huge factor in this game. I talked about how Henry Parrish and Miami have been quite effective at running the football. That's something you really hope shows up big, is if you're A&M, that defensive front is able to nullify that rushing attack. If indeed the defensive front for A&M is able to nullify the rushing attack for Miami, a new problem presents itself. Because Tyler Van Dyke is one of the most exciting young quarterbacks in all of college football right now. And if you're wondering what type of quarterback Tyler Van Dyke is, go back, watch some previous games, but absolutely tune into this game because this is going to be such a great indication, such a great test game. Going to Kyle Field, which is notoriously loud, notoriously difficult to play in, taking on Texas A&M in a week where they're going to be looking to unload on whoever it is that's in front of them coming off of an Appalachian State loss. Jimbo Fisher's got a lot to prove. And now Texas A&M is looking at Miami as the conduit of their rage. And so it's going to be a game that you need to be on your P's and Q's if you're Tyler Van Dyke. You cannot be taking unnecessary chances because Texas A&M's defense is going to attempt to bait you into bad decisions. It's all about weathering those storms. So for Texas A&M's defense, that defensive front is stout. There's a lot of names there. They need to try and slow down this rushing attack. Because if Miami is able to run and throw, now they're able to get whatever it is they want, and now they're dictating what this game is going to be to Texas A&M. And if you're Texas A&M, you have got to be the one dictating if your offense isn't where you'd like it to be just yet. Not saying it won't get there by the end of the year, but as we currently sit here and talk, Texas A&M has got to be the one in control and dictating the pace of this game because their offense isn't where they need it to be right now. On the back end for Texas A&M, they have some talent, but it's going to be interesting seeing them paired up and tested by a quarterback of the caliber of Tyler Van Dyke. I'm super keyed in on that. Let's flip the script now. Let's talk about Miami's offense and what they need to do to be successful, and Miami as a whole. What do the Miami Hurricanes need to do? Well, offensively, we already highlighted Tyler Van Dyke. He is an incredibly talented quarterback. Henry Parrish has been having a great year to this point. The Miami rushing attack has been able to get it going. And for Mario Cristobal, this is about as good of a start as you could have wanted to your season. What better way to continue all the positive trajectory, all the positive momentum you've been able to generate not only this year, but also in recruiting than by going out and downing Texas A&M. Now, right now when we're looking at this, Xavier Restrepo is a guy I'm going to be watching very closely for the Miami Hurricanes. He and Tyler Van Dyke have a rapport, they have an understanding, they have a great chemistry with one another, and so it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to affect this game. But if you're Miami, you've got to stay balanced. You've got to stay ahead of schedule. That way you're dictating everything Texas A&M is doing. If you're able to keep it third and short, second and short, you're going to be controlling this game. And as I said for Texas A&M, it is important for the Aggies to be the one to have control of this game. If you're able to take that away, personally, I feel like Miami's chances of winning exponentially increase if they're able to successfully do that. On the defensive side, I think Miami's going to be really looking to key in on several different things. They understand that Texas A&M's offense has struggled. They understand that this is a week where Jimbo can right a lot of wrongs if he goes out there and has a stellar offensive performance. One of the ways to do that is ensure they cannot get a rushing attack started. To ensure that you're putting it all on the shoulders of the quarterback, who, yes, Haynes King is here this year, but this is his first year as the full-time starter, at least being able to do so healthy. Hopefully he remains healthy. You never want to see injury. But taking away a part of the offense is only going to make it easier to effectively cover the other part of the offense because now A&M is far less balanced. Once again, everything revolves around control in this game. Whether you're controlling the offensive pace, whether you're controlling the defensive pace, control is going to be what wins a team this game, in my opinion. And for Miami, if you're able to control what Texas A&M is able to do, you're really helping your odds here. The one thing that I need to say, though, is Texas A&M has got a dangerous special teams unit, right? This is something we've seen rear its head time and time again. A&M will be in a sticky situation. then all of a sudden kickoff return happens because something I highlighted when I was talking about Texas A&M's offense, they've got really talented pieces. Please do not look at the numbers and get it confused that this is an offense devout of talent. This is an offense that has pieces that would play almost everywhere else in the nation unquestionably. And for Miami, when it comes to special teams, you've got to be on your P's and Q's because that's something Texas A&M is able to positively do and positively generate momentum for their team consistently. We saw it last year in the Alabama game. We've already seen it this year. A-Chain is a dangerous playmaker. One I wouldn't test if I was at Miami, especially if I'm looking to get the easy victory and try and cruise. I'm certainly not going to be kicking it to him because he's shown me time and time again that's a mistake. So this game has massive implications. You have one program who has a first-year head coach there coming back home and Mario Cristobal returning home to Miami to take over the Miami Hurricanes. Thus far, it's been nothing but positive momentum, both on the recruiting trail and in the early results of the season. But what a better test than by going on the road in a hostile environment against a ranked opponent in Texas A&M, who even though, yes, Texas A&M just lost to Appalachian State, now their back's against the rope. Now they've got to come out and unload everything they have to keep their season alive. On the flip side of this, Texas A&M is in a situation where they've got nothing to lose. They have got to come out, play ferocious, and be the team that they know they can be in order to pull off this victory. And what a victory this would be. Winning cures a lot in sports, and having that understanding that winning cures a lot is sure to be on the forefront of Jimbo Fisher's mind, as there are so many questions currently being asked about his regime at Texas A&M. You win this game, a lot of those questions go away, especially if you win it in convincing fashion. I can't wait to hear from you. This is a game I have circled and circled again, because I truly do believe this game right here has a great chance to be the game of the week. Can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down in the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See you.